take a piss, so give me a few minutes. All right, so it says we're live. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't have it up. Do you have it up?
It just said live, so hopefully it's going to
Oh,
work.
Ranger 10 millimeter saying he's seeing us. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Gun Nation.
Good evening. So
How
how's
are you doing
everybody
here?
doing out there? And the gun culture people out there, how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Everybody has good health, riches, and all the other goodies that they'd want in life. So we got a couple of different diverse things to talk about tonight. We've got, let's see, disease, the tragic passing of a sports icon, including 7 other people, and of course, guns. Why not?
Yeah,
So why don't we start with the gun stuff? How's that sound? You want to do that?
yeah,
All right.
sounds good.
So if anybody read the description, because we know nobody reads descriptions anymore in regards to videos, one of the things that I put on the description was the show in Vegas a bust? Now, I didn't want to put SHOT Show because if you put SHOT Show, you're immediately banned from YouTube. So I decided to kind of play, a little bit name tag there. So, Big Johnson and I were kind of briefly speaking about it before the show started, and we were talking about it. And, he's got his opinion, I've got mine. So, why don't we start with you, Big Johnson? Let's hear what you have to say about SHOT Show.
Okay. I think it was neat to see some pistols, I guess, somewhat unveiled. For example, like these Dan Wesson, DWX, to actually kind of see it. I know they didn't have tons of them. They just had the one compact and the one full size, but it was neat to see them. The Alien, the $5,000 Alien. I mean, it's cool. Is it earth shattering? No. Um, and we had already seen the lineup for STI, but I really liked that little PSA dagger, Dagger 9 or something. That
Yeah.
takes Glock parts, and they're going to have 4 versions of those. They're going to have the basic one, then the one with suppressor sights, then suppressor sight and optic ready, and then they're supposed to have a really tricked out one with like lightning cuts and suppressor sights. It's kind of like the fully loaded one. Then again, they are only Glock 19 frames. I wish they had a 17 and a 19, and maybe they eventually will. Um, then you had the CZ Custom, 10 millimeter, which is basically the 97B, that's been converted to a 10 millimeter, which is
Right.
pretty cool, if somebody's looking for something like that. But, and the thing that really kind of impressed me is, man, the offerings from HoloSun, the 507 or 507T or whatever, the little
Yeah.
small
Whatever
one,
they are now.
and then the 509T, the emitter, the enclosed emitter. Now that will have a different footprint, but Holosun is really stepping up their optic game. And knock on wood, I still haven't had a problem with mine, but I guess we'll see. But I think PSA is doing some good stuff. Was it like earth shattering? Did everybody have new guns? No, and I think Smith and Wesson missed the mark with just having the core versions. I think they should have made everything optic ready. That's just my opinion, but you know, that's kind of the stuff that I kind of paid attention to. What about you?
All right. So I'll try to do like one by one what you were talking about. So I think one of the biggest winners at SHOT Show, I agree with you, was HoloSun. I think they came out with some pretty sweet ass stuff. They even have a batteryless optic, which is awesome. They have the one that's fully enclosed, which is really awesome. So I think HoloSun was a huge winner in regards to putting out new stuff. I mean, they just had a bunch of things already, and it's cool because I talked to a guy about 2 weeks before SHOT Show. Because I had a question on my HoloSun, which I think I told you what was wrong with it, but I'm too embarrassed to admit it on national video like this, right? But he was telling me that there was a bunch of cool shit coming out, and he was dead on. I mean, it was awesome. I was really impressed with what I saw from HoloSun, so that's kind of cool. The dagger, what it's Dagger S9 or some crap
Dagger
like that. I
9
don't
or
even
something
know.
like that?
I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's nice. The price point is great, but it's just, I mean, again, it's just another Glock, clone. I mean, that's what it is. Now,
Yeah.
if it runs great, it's going to be, as somebody mentioned it, it's going to be a huge seller, and we all know that. And I would agree. Hell, I would even consider getting one. But again, it's going to depend on what the reliability is, but I'm assuming it's going to be good. They're not going to put out something that's probably a piece of crap. Uh, you know, Do I think there were probably more losers than winners? Yes, because there really wasn't much. I mean, there were a lot of high-end stuff. You know, you brought up the Alien, $5,000. I mean, that gun looks great. And I
Hmm.
actually know somebody who's saving up to buy one. And we were actually texting yesterday about it. And you know, it's cool. I mean, I just think 5,000 for a gun is insane to me, but you know, that's my own personal opinion. And I think I agree with you. I think Smith missed the mark a little bit once again by just releasing the core series. Although hopefully maybe you'll see down the line because Smith and Wesson has a tendency to never really play up anything. They just release stuff. Very similarly to Beretta. Beretta I think was a huge loser because they didn't really do anything. They showed the 92X series and that's been out for a while. So
Hmm.
what happened to the APX? They just like forgot about it. But I honestly think for me, the one thing that I thought was pretty cool, and a lot of people probably disagree, but I think a big winner in the pistol market was Walther with that Q4 steel frame. Now I know some people are going to say, "Oh, well, what the hell you need a steel frame?" But think about it; it really is, and you know, for the most part, the only striker-fired metal gun out there. You know, all steel, and I think that's cool. So, to me, that's one that I think is high on my list of all the guns I saw. That one definitely is on my list because again, I love the PPQ and I think that's going to be a cool gun to have. You know, so I think overall, was it a bust? I don't think it was necessarily an overall bust. I just think there wasn't much of a lot of wow. You know, I think there was more like meh,
Yeah.
and we'll see. I don't know if it's just because we were so inundated with the same stuff that we don't really need anything new. But I do know the technology is going up, and that's why I think Holosun was a huge winner.
Yeah. And Holosun is really pushing the dot, colors again with the golds and all that stuff. They had talked about it before. He's got to step out for a second, but they had talked about it before, and then kind of brought it back, or really made it readily available. So, and what the deal is with the gold color is, if you're colorblind, supposedly you can still see that. And I did hear if you have astigmatism, the gold is the best. And I have astigmatism. I've got a bad stigmatism. So I haven't been able to look through a gold one yet, but I'm very interested in looking through a gold one to see if it really helps or if that's just a bunch of hoopla. So if anybody has a gold one and they have, astigmatism, let me know if it helps or if you can tell the difference or not. I would be interesting. And yeah, I know 17 was talking about the Q4, the steel one, but man, for what is it, 14, yeah, 13, $1,400, that's a no-go for me for that particular gun, but to each their own. Let's see here. What's up, Tundra? How are you? Yeah, it's the gold dot optic. So that, like I said, if you're colorblind, everyone who's colorblind is supposed to be able to see the gold. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I saw the gold dot optic thing. I don't know. I don't know how good that would be. I personally think the green ones are the best. To me, they show up the
Well,
best on there.
the gold, and that's what someone said. They said the gold one is for people with stigmatisms. It's supposed to help
Mm,
them. So that's why I'm interested in looking through it because I have a pretty bad stigmatism, and I want to see
yeah,
if it really helps or if it's just a bunch of blah blah. But
yeah, and C. Kim brought up an interesting point. I wonder if it's going to get washed out, you know, in bright sunlight. You know, it would be interesting. Like, you know, is it yellow or is it like a gold? So, you know, I'm thinking the gold would probably be a little deeper than just yellow, but who the hell knows?
yeah, it could be like a really high fluorescent yellow or something. But
Oh, and you know, I didn't bring up the 509, whatever they call it now, compact, subcompact. I don't even know,
mhm.
but I mean that's a cool gun too. I mean I love the 509 MRD. That's a great handgun. I don't know if I'd be rushing out to get the compact version of it, but you know, like I said, I didn't. I mean, I was a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, a
Well,
PSA is coming out cool. I love the fact that there's just AKs everywhere. Like to me,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I did forget one thing that was actually pretty awesome. Apex triggers, they're actually coming out with slides that are milled, so you can get a
Mm,
shield, M&P shield slide, and you can just put it right on your 1.0 or your 2.0, and it's already milled for the optic, and they've got some lightning cuts and hopefully suppressor sights, and then also they're offering a pre-cut 5-inch 509 slide
mm,
pre-milled or it's going to be milled and all that stuff, and that looks really awesome. So I know
yeah.
it's they can't he hinted to me a while ago that they were going to do that, but Being able to see them, I thought was pretty awesome too. So I don't know what the price points are on it or anything like that, but it's going to have a fully assembled slide, and you just put a dot on it and slide it right on your gun. So it'll come with the barrel and everything. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Or I know the 509 will. I don't know about the Shield.
Yeah. So I guess everybody's going the way of the dot. As much as I hate to say it, that seems to be what's going on.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. We've talked about this before. If they at least mill it and then offer a cover plate, or don't even offer a cover plate, if you don't want to put a dot on it, it's not like, dirt's going to go down through the screw holes because they don't go all the way. They're just there. I mean, you can shoot it with a dot or without a dot, but at least you've got that option.
Yeah. Yep. So that's, I mean, like I said, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I saw a shot, or what the videos were and what people were putting out there. If there was really anything that to me was like, wow. But again, like I said, I think there's a lot of misses this year. But again, I don't know if the market even demands anything really strikingly new. I think obviously the Lugo Arms is probably the newest, coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. I just think that when you're talking about the regular gun or the average gun person, I can't see them buying that, and again, it's a limited run. The concern is always going to be aftermarket, or I shouldn't say aftermarket, but even just basic support. And, are we going to have another Hudson on our hands where, oh, this is the newest and greatest thing you've ever seen, and then it just goes belly up and leaves people with either no gun because it got sent in for problems, or guns that don't operate, or guns you can't do anything with if they ever break. So.
Yeah, and you bring up a valid point. That's something I was thinking about. You spend $5,000 on a gun, and say a spring comes off, or you're working on it and just something breaks, or something flies off and you can't find it. I mean, it's not like you can just call them and say, hey, I need this spring and that spring. I don't know if they're going to have all those parts readily available, or if they're all going to assembly. It's kind of like when the first year a car comes out, they don't just have tons of parts lying around because they're using those parts to build the guns and the cars. So I don't know.
So I'd be curious to see what people were thinking about with SIG coming out with the new series of 320X series, where now they have them optic ready, or excuse me, with the optics added on, but you still have the co-witnessing, which again, this is what I think blows my mind about SIG. So you guys know I have the X Carry, but it's the Pro model, so it has the removable plate and you still keep co-witnessing. But that's it. Like, they didn't release it to anybody. So I'm still like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's well thought out, or if it's just kind of a knee-jerk decision of what they're going to be putting out. Because again, to me, even if you can't co-witness because they don't have sights, I'd rather have the option of doing it at some point. So I think, to me, that's why I haven't gotten an X Compact, even though I do like the X Carry quite a bit. I just think they missed it a little bit on that one.
Yeah, and it's like way back when we had our regular 320s, we wanted all these extra frames, and it was just forever before we could get frames. It's like in Hell CZ, with their optic plates and stuff, we've talked about all that before too. It just seems like you would be prepared all the way around the board and then release it, and then have all these accessories to dump out there too. Yeah. So let's take some questions.
Yeah, I mean, all right, let's see what we got going on here. So a couple of just real quick comments. Let me see. Art is saying that there's a limited run of 500 collector's editions, but the base model is to be offered for $3,000. So I guess that makes a bit of a difference, $3,000, which I think is probably more palatable, especially for people who go that route. I personally would not. I couldn't do it. If I could, I probably would. I'm not going to lie, because the thing is just so freaking cool. But, to me, even that is kind of prohibitive for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming out with a 6-inch. They're going to have the threaded barrel. They're going to have supposedly a bunch of different options for it, but we'll see.
All right. Paul H. brings up a good point. Why does no one speak of the MC2C from Mossberg? It is the same width as a 43X to 48, but with a slightly shorter grip and 4-inch barrel, not to mention the metal mags. It's going to be a sleeper. He's got a good point. I think, I really don't know what to say about the MC1, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't think that did very well selling wise, because it really didn't hit a market that people needed. I think in this case, the MC2C is a little bit better because it's smaller, good capacity. So I can see that probably selling more.
Yeah, well, when they released the first one, they were just falling into that Shield, 43 regular market, and it was already saturated. So they came in at a decent price point. but now they're giving them away. I mean, you know, if you want to get the regular one, but this new one, I still think it's just, and I know some people are gonna buy it, but I think they just kind of missed the mark with it. You know, with how they launched it, and you'll see, you know, pictures occasionally with it, but there's no big reviewers. You know, there's just not a lot of stuff out there about it. People will be like, oh, you know, hey, here it is. We heard it's coming to SHOT Show, but after that, kind of goes away.
So this is kind of an interesting question because we were talking about the 92X Pro or whatever the hell they call it now. And Double B saying 1776, it seems the Shadow 2 is a banging deal for the value to price, I think. You know, we were kind of talking about and going back and forth. I think the Shadow 2 is probably, like you said, the best deal for the value.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting a fantastic handgun. It is well built, obviously, for the most part, extremely reliable. And it's a damn good shooter. And so when you look at the price, it's under $2,000. Right now, you can probably find some of them, I think, for under $1,000, maybe, depending.
Yeah.
Right?
I've seen them for the Urban Grays for $9.99. I mean, like special, not all the time, not everyday pricing.
Right. So, I mean, for that would be probably the best value. Now, compared to, you know, the Alien, which is, I think, the biggest, hottest thing right now, yeah, it's $3,000, so it's about triple the price, but you're getting such a unique gun. There's nothing like it out right now, and there probably won't be anything in the future like that either.
Yeah. But, you know, some people will look at it like, I could get 2 Shadow 2s for the price of that and have 1 shooter, 1 backup gun, or just get an Alien, because if you have a $5,000 Alien and it does go down and you can't repair it right then and there, you're out of the match, or, you know, whatever, where you could go to another backup gun if you had that, you know, if you're able to do that. But what I understand is the $5,000 kit comes with multiple slides, you know, the iron or the optic, and it does come with the optic. You know, it comes in a big kit, and then they're going to have, after that, they're going to have the $3,000, but it doesn't come with multiple slides. You know, you have to buy those additionally. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, you know, only time will tell on that. I know that they were selling those, and they were actually writing orders for those supposedly at SHOT Show. You know, because I do know someone who owns a gun store, and they actually put in an order for, I think, 4 of them. You know, I don't know if they're going to get all 4 of them, but that's what they wanted. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see.
Now, what is the price of the DWX going to be?
The DWX is $17.99.
So even that, in regards to one of the newer firearms, that to me is a better deal than obviously a $3,000 single slide gun, which was meant to have multiple slides, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, and if you look at it, you know, the DWX is going to come in a 40 caliber and a 9, so you could shoot it, you know, in limited minor or major. It's single action only, so you can't shoot it, and it's too heavy for carry optics unless you milled it, but you can't shoot single action and carry optics anyway. So I don't know. I mean, and I'm not joking around. If I were to get the DWX, I mean, I would carry it. Hell, I carried 1911s for a long time. So, I mean, probably not in an inside waistband holster, but I'd carry it in an outside, you know, with like a jacket or something over it. But I mean, I think it's going to be an awesome gun, and I'm excited about it. And I've got plenty of P10F mags for it. The small one, you know, Harry was there, and I had him check it for me. And I said, what does the frame feel like on the small one? And he said, it's a P01. He said, it's that exact same size. And that's kind of small for me. But, you know, I think it's going to fit a lot of people. And it's alloy frame, so it's lighter. You know, it's basically a P01, but with a single action trigger. And I mean, that thing's going to be freaking awesome. So
Ripcord Jr. saying, any news from SHOT Show on the Steyr M9A2 and carry version? So nothing. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. They didn't produce any media. And once again, you know, this is the huge dilemma for a company like Steyr. I mean, great pistols, no doubt. They make some cool stuff, but just zero when it comes to marketing. It's disappointing. And for whatever reason, I seem to be attracted to the guns that nobody wants. You know, it's either the Steyr, the damn APX. I mean, it's like crazy. Like, I love these guns, and there's no friggin' support, like none. It drives me insane. It really does.
Yeah, there's so many people that are behind, or so many companies that are behind the ball. There's some that are trying to dig the trench and move forward, and there's some that are saying, well, let's wait and see how that's set. But then maybe we'll think about it. And sometimes by that time, it's too late, you know?
Yeah. So Johnny Danger saying the shot shows seem underwhelming. So when we're done with the chat, do me a favor, buddy, go back and watch like the first, I'd say like 10 minutes of the chat, because that's exactly what we were talking
Yeah.
about. HK, they came out with the upgraded the VP9 with the optic ability. I mean, that's it. No single stack. You think they would do something like that, but they didn't even do that. So
yeah, but they did offer the new, but it actually was before SHOT Show, but the new MP5, for civilians. So that was pretty exciting for them. I mean, that was a pretty big deal. So
yeah. So
here we
CK
go.
asked earlier, still waiting on the Caracol, and then Harry said he thought of me when he walked past the Caracol booth. Hey, Harry, was there anybody in that booth, just out of curiosity? I'm supposed to be getting my Caracol back at some point this month. So we're going to see. I mean, I'm hoping it works. Like I said, I like the gun. I just hope it works, and I hope they hope it works, because if not, it's it's nothing to go on. So it sucks,
Yeah. What did you think about the SIG P210?
Again, it's one of those guns with like meh. Like, I'm just like, what the hell would you need that for? Me personally, I would look at a 92X Centurion. That's what I would look at. And I was playing around with one in the local gun shop here by me, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if I really would buy it, because I have the M9A3 already, and that to me is a great modern 92 series gun. But the 92X is pretty sweet, So for me, I'd actually go that route instead of the SIG.
Yeah, and I mean, I shot the 92X, and I thought it was a really nice gun. I shot KS's, just the other day, and but I think there's some people that like, there's some companies that just kind of live on their basic stuff, and HK they kind of do that. There's people that are still foaming at the mouth over USPs. Which they're great pistols, but they're, they just kind of been around, and they work, and they're workhorses. But man, even if you took a USP and you put like a milled for a dot, or you did something different, I mean, and anybody could get one milled, but I think just refreshing something like the PPQ, the regular PPQ, like you've talked about, man, that thing's so freaking boring. I mean, it's like, you think, other than just making a Striker Fire $1,400 gun, you think they'd be like, hey, okay, let's kind of revamp some stuff.
And even when they did that, there wasn't a huge redesign. I mean, you have a nicer beaver tail. It looks like it may sit a little bit lower because of that, but like I said, we are not the guys making these guns. I'm not sure who is, but I think their designers need to maybe listen to what people are thinking about and going that route. But that's never going to happen. I mean, who are we kidding?
Yeah, you think they would, do like groups where they got like a lot of shooters together and just said, hey, what are you looking for? And kind of go like that. But
yeah. So let's see what else we got going on here. So Paul is telling me I should buy the 92X and then review it. So I said I'm taking donations for it. The Centurion's not that bad priced. It's a little high where I'm at right now, but they're having a sale this weekend. It's a 25% off customer sale. So it actually drops it down to a much better range in the upper fives. So, if they do layaway, maybe I'll throw some bones on it, because I do like it, but I just, right now I'm just slowing down. I mean, there's nothing really catching my eye. I'm reinvesting in some rifles. I got another stainless Marlin coming at some point. So,
cool.
You got to kind of play it the way you want. So,
yeah. James Rowe is asking the 92X over the LTT. And I just did a video where I was talking about the LTT, the Wilson Combat. And I would say the 92X, yes, over the LTT. And I like the LTT. But man, that 92X is a heavy dog. I mean, it just, when he handed it to me, I was just like, wow, I didn't expect it to be that heavy. But I love the coating on it. I love the little funneled magwell. I mean, there's a lot to like about it. If you're into 92Xs, and like I said in the video, I think it is the best 92 series made, for what you're, which, I mean, I think it could be used for anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be used for competition, but go ahead. What were we going to say?
So just really quick, one of the things I was going to say is just to clarify, keep in mind the 92X series is different handguns. It's not just a competition model.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar, they have the subcompact, they have the Centurion, and then I think they have the regular like full size.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at is more of like the more practical use as opposed to competitive use. So, that also has a role to play. So to me, if I was looking at an LTT versus the newer 92X Centurion, which I actually handled both in this gun shop, I personally think that the 92X is a better gun. Yeah, maybe it doesn't have the fanciness to it, but you're getting a better grip. And that Vertec grip, you cannot beat it. You just can't. It's a much better grip for a lot of different people.
Yeah, I mean, and like just on the 92X, performance, it's got the rail, it's got some other stuff. So if you could get it a little, nicer trigger and something like that, I would want that. I'm not saying it's a must. It's not at all.
Sure.
Right. But you could throw a rail on it. I mean, excuse me, a light on it. You could, whatever you wanted to do with it. But
yeah, and like I said, it all depends on what the purpose is for you. If you want to get a gun like that, go for it, man.
Yeah. C. Kim has, thoughts on the HK SP5. Is it outdated?
I mean, you hate to disparage H&K because then they'll come after you.
Yeah.
They'll mock you till you'll die. I personally, I've never really been like all in on HK firearms. I mean, I just got a VP9 SK, which I do actually like. This one's different from the full size, but I don't know. They don't do much for me, to be honest with you. You look at, like you said, you talked about the USP. The USP is such a blocky, but it's a great gun, but just blocky, old school, that kind of stuff. Then they slightly modernized to the P2000. Then eventually came the P30. It's like, I don't know, man. They don't really make anything that knocks your socks off. Yeah, the VP9 is a good series, but I don't really particularly think HK's got much in regards to modern firearms.
Yeah, and me personally, I like the P30 over the VP9 line. I mean, just in my opinion, but I don't think the HK, SP5 is like outdated. I think it's a proven platform, but it's what you want and what you're going to use it for. I mean, they're proven. They work. HK firearms work. It's that's why they haven't changed the USP line and stuff, because the damn things just work. And I've shot the, I didn't own it, but a buddy of mine had the USP. What is it? The 45, the 10 rounder. Yeah. And so I shot, and I've shot his before and everything. And he's like, this is the best 45 made, da 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 da. Well, then I let him shoot the FNX 45, which holds 16 rounds versus 11, with one in the pipe. And shit, he's had that gun forever and shoots the crap out of it. And he shot the FNX better than he did his USP 45. And he's like, damn, now I'm going to get this, So it's like, if you just try different things, you might like different things. But if it works for you, hell, run it. They still sell.
So Roman 623 brought up something interesting. He's saying HK, at least for me, means quality and military grade. Could you say the same thing about Glock?
Yeah.
For a lot lesser price, you know what I mean? I mean, who could say that a Glock 19 or a 17 is not military grade and made of quality, but doesn't have that price point? I think a lot of times, we confuse, and again, I'm not telling anybody they do. I'm just saying sometimes, maybe what's getting confused is the name and the whole mythos behind the name versus the, other firearms out there that are probably just as good, less known potentially, and less priced. So that's an interesting comment. So
yeah, I think he's on the military grade. I bet he's talking about their double action, single action more so. He could be talking about the VP9 series, but
the USP is a military grade pistol.
Well,
no doubt.
Right. But I'm saying those grades, not necessarily the VP9 grades, but I always picture the VP9 as more of a civilian setup versus the other, ones that they offer. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Joker's saying the Glock 44 doesn't look to be military grade. Yeah, sure. If you want to use it as a fragment grenade, maybe. But
well, and I shot KS's just the other night, and I did a video on it. And I'm not lying. I was 10 yards away, and I'm not a bad shot. And I was 10 yards away, and that thing was shooting. I was aiming at the bottom, and it was shooting this high at 10 yards. And the sights were all the way down. and KS shot it, the same thing. I mean, we put up the same groups. That thing shoots so freaking high. But every time, I mean, I looked at it to see if there were any cracks or any of that, and it shot reliably. And we put 4 different grades or 4 different brands of ammo through it and didn't have any failures with it. But God dang, that thing shoots high. And I hadn't watched any videos on it. I really hadn't before I shot it. And then after I shot it, I was like, man, is this, some people are saying it doesn't shoot high. And then I saw one where a guy was shooting at 25 yards. He was shooting at 25 yards and it was not even hitting the steel. It was going above the steel. He had to shoot the very bottom of the plate to get it to even hit the steel. And I was like, damn, that thing shoots high.
You know what I think is the most interesting part of that with some of the failures that have been reported, alleged failures. Obviously there are people who say it's fact, but I think the most important thing is the fact that how cheap is the steel that they must be using in that slide? Because I mean, I saw the one where the guy had the thing cracked. I mean, we're talking about a 22.
But it's
can you imagine how
it is a polymer slide? The whole slide's polymer. It just has a little bit of metal on the bottom of the frame.
Oh, the whole slide. I didn't know the whole slide.
Yeah, the whole slide is polymer. It just has a little metal sleeve on the bottom.
Wow. Yeah, to me that's. I mean, nah.
And it weighs.
That's a big no.
When I picked it up, I literally thought it was a toy. It weighs. And I don't know the exact weight. I was guessing that it's like 13 or 14 ounces. The thing weighs nothing. I was just like, holy crap, this thing's a toy.
Interesting.
But, it shot, so it went bang.
Yeah, I still have no interest in it.
Yeah.
So somebody mentioned earlier the CCP 380. I guess he wanted to know our thoughts on that. I mean, just why?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the gun, and in my mind, maybe that gun is better designed for a 380 because I don't like it. I think the gun is, just trash. But that's me. It's not a real Walther. I know there are a lot of people out there that claim it is. No, it's not. It's built in Umarex, not an Ohm. It's not a real Walther. It's not. So.
I think there's better 380s made if you have to carry a 380. I think there's much better ones out there. As a backup gun or something, I wouldn't have an issue carrying, one, and I would probably get like the Glock 43 or maybe, it's
right.
bigger, but maybe like the Shield, 380 EZ, but hell, now they've got the 9mm EZ. So it just depends on what works for you, what you shoot well, whatever the hell you buy, make sure it shoots, with multiple kinds
42.
of ammo. Huh?
No, you said 43, but it's a 42, 380.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I meant the Glock 42, the 380. Yes, I'm sorry.
We got Keith Gregory, who's our whatever. He's our researcher.
Yep. Yeah, and I knew that it was the 42. I was just thinking of a 43.
All right, let's see. I don't even so it's 8:30. We had a lot of fun talking about SHOT Show. So let's throw a little bit of curveballs in here. Okay. So obviously everybody's been talking about the coronavirus in China. So we won't spend too much time on it, but just kind of get everybody's thoughts about it. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. I was reading something today. They're saying that they actually, put people in quarantine, 50 million people in quarantine right now, 50 million, and then you've got a city like Wuhan that has 11 million, which is about the same population as New York City, that is completely shut down. It's kind of scary when you think about it,
Yeah. And there was some flights that came in from China, and there were Americans on it. So,
yeah.
Who the hell knows? It's scary stuff when you start thinking about that, and, I know people have talked about like virus warfare and stuff like that. It's scary stuff. Yeah. And you're packed, especially if you're packed on an airplane, you're breathing a bunch of recycled air.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing to joke around about, that's some serious stuff, man.
Yep, that's true. All right, so that's our China. We're done with that. So we'll do about a 30-second segue into the Kobe Bryant, disaster. And, I've been reading a lot about it and reading a lot of comments from people, people saying, well, why do we worship them or whatever? I think even if you get past the fact, and I think obviously it's blown up because he is a celebrity. I mean, obviously. But I think the fact that, you had 9 people in this tragic crash. I mean, it's just a tragedy.
Yeah.
And yes, it is blown up because of the fact of the stature of the person. But then you start to read a lot about him and what he was doing after basketball. And you really, at least for me, I'm a huge basketball fan. I played ball. I love basketball. That's like that was my thing. But, like I had Jordan, a lot of the kids had Kobe, and I even remember playing on pickup games when I was older, saying, dropping the 3 going Kobe, like one of those. And so you kind of realize that, yes, it isn't that he's, better than anybody else. It's just the fact that he is an iconic sports figure for a lot of people, for a lot of different reasons. The fact that there's a lot of kids out there that have nothing and nowhere to go, but they can play basketball, and they look at guys like that and they say, man, I want to be like that guy. And maybe that's the only positive role model they may have. Now, we can argue whether he was positive or negative with some of his background, but at the same time, I think that's what people miss, is the fact that there are so many people out there that don't have that positive figure, and they look at these celebrities because they're all over the place. It's not like you and I were just normal, average people. They're never going to know who we are. But these guys who are athletes, these ladies who are athletes and actresses and whatever, they look up to those people because that's what they are seeing, and that's a way for them to get out of whatever misery they might be in. So it sucks. His daughter was killed in that. Yes. I mean, it's just crazy. Then you have the parents and their daughter left 2 other kids behind. I mean, the whole thing is just sad, man. So.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and he's not the first, celebrity, something like that to happen to either. But I mean, it's a tragedy when anyone is killed in that kind of, situation, or even a car crash, or, any kind of scenario like that. And a lot of people did look up to him, and you can run it both ways. We lose police, soldiers, and everyone every day. And some of those people are, not really thought about. They're not the high viewed celebrities and things like that. And of course, I was a huge Jordan fan back in the day, and I was big, I was more into football than basketball, but, not everybody has, like you said, some of the things he had done in the past, and other celebrities have done, bad things in the past. But, if even somebody in a really bad, poor mindset, if they can watch a game and take 3 hours out of their life and enjoy it and have fun with their family and friends and things like that, I mean, that's kind of what sports was originally for. Now it's kind of became a plateau of, the knee stuff and all that, which is bull crap. Yeah. But, there's a place for that, and you can use your own platform since you're a celebrity to do stuff like that. That's not.
And he was doing all that,
Yeah. So, I mean, it's awful what happened to him and his daughter,
Right.
I mean, it is indeed
and
a tragedy.
And all the families too,
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Everyone who was involved, and, the families that are the parts that are still living have to deal with, not having those people in their lives anymore. And, it's bad, but.
Yep. And what's kind of interesting too is, I don't know if many of you guys know who Ice Cube is. I'm hoping most of you guys know who Ice Cube is. But he was on, and he was saying, and he actually said that probably the best thing I've heard anybody say was the fact that, Kobe and guys like Kobe unite LA. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, rich or poor, whatever. These guys and gals unite cities like that. And that would, to me, that was extremely, I think a good way of putting it. That, even though maybe this isn't your cup of tea, and yes, who cares? He's just an athlete, blah, blah, blah. But again, average people don't necessarily have that platform to unite an entire city. And I think that's kind of the difference. And yeah, it sucks and it's sad. But like other people have said, we lose people every minute.
Yeah. And I, there's other people like Romans and other people out there saying, like our police, our military, our soldiers, and they don't get the coverage they deserve either. Right. And I think that they really should. But, again, how everybody puts the celebrities up on the plateaus, they don't put soldiers and, firemen and, police.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They don't look at them like that. And they should. I mean, those people,
right. I mean, they sacrifice every day.
Yeah, exactly. Because if something happens to, yourself, you're going to call the police. You're going to call the fire department. You want them to be there to help you. A basketball celebrity is not going to be there to help you in that situation.
But keep in mind,
and to fight for your freedom either.
Right,
So
but also keep in mind that, it's not the celebrity's fault. It's the fact that we don't hold the media accountable for not putting those people up on pedestals more.
sure, yeah,
So that's it. It's an unfortunate way to end. 41, dying with his daughter. I know somebody mentioned that, the fact that you died with his daughter. And to me, that was also something that may comfort his wife at some point. The fact that in that moment of terror, the daughter had the father to kind of, hold on
yeah,
to. And
yeah,
as a parent myself, I mean, if I'm going to die and I'm able, well, I guess I don't want to say this, but if I'm in that situation and I have one of my kids with me, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they look at me and they understand that we're going to be okay, even though you
yeah,
probably know you won't be. So,
yeah.
you know, shitty story.
No, yeah, and he was doing that to try to fight the traffic.
Right.
Having that luxury to be able to do that, which a lot of people can't. But
Right.
you know, stuff. It could have easily, even been a car crash. I mean, you just don't. That's why it is so important to tell the people that you know and love. Tell them you love them.
Yeah.
I mean, let them know, because man, like I'm even concerned. Like, as much as I travel, you never know what could happen. You just
Sure.
don't.
Yeah, you're
So,
right, man. Well, it doesn't even mean you've got to travel. You could just be going to work.
yeah, or walking down the street. Hell,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Speaking
So,
of which, this I thought was interesting. So right down the road by where I live, I think I'm starting to live like in the horrible neighborhoods that I always feared. But about, I mean, maybe not even 15, 10 minutes from my house, there was a triple homicide.
wow.
And apparently a guy got to this house and just shot everybody in the house, including, I believe, a 10-year-old and also a 3-year-old, and then the 2 adults that were in the home. But of course, they're not releasing any details because there's something up, something caused it. So they said it was initially a home invasion. So I got to talking to a local guy who knows one of the cops who was there, and he was saying that it actually was gang related. So you had a blood who went after Latin King. There was some issues with the woman, so of course he went in there and started shooting. Now, again, that's all alleged allegations at this point. But interestingly enough, when they started talking about the guy they arrested for the crime, he was actually arrested in 2006 for illegal possession of a weapon. What a surprise! And also trying to possess cocaine, trying to buy cocaine. So he got released on bail, and he never went to trial. He never went to jail.
Wow.
So you fast forward 14 years later, the guy is now involved in a triple homicide with the ability to get a firearm again. And I thought it was kind of interesting because here we always talk about in New York, all these gun laws, gun laws, gun laws, gun laws. But the only guns that are being kept out are the ones who are owned by legal or lawful abiding citizens, not the criminals. And if this is not another example of it, I don't know what is.
Yeah. No, like we said, I mean, bad guys are going to find guns, whether it be stealing it out of a car, out of a house, or taking someone's, or doing whatever. They're going to get them. And if it's not a gun, it's going to be a hammer, or it's going to be an axe handle. It's going to be something. So bad people are going to do bad things, no matter what it is. So it's up to us to be able to defend ourselves as good law-abiding citizens. That right shouldn't be stripped from us. And anybody says that, oh, we don't need guns and you don't do this. I've been carrying a gun forever. I've never had to use it. Okay, but we all have insurance on our cars, or should. You might not get in a crash, but if you do, you have it.
Right.
So, I mean.
Yep. So,
and all the people bitching about this and wanting to take it away, they all have bodyguards.
Oh,
So,
I know. It's good
I
stuff, man. King Cuomo, great job.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at 8:43ish. So, what are some of the new things that you're getting your hands on, that you're shooting, that you're enjoying? What's going on?
Shooting a lot more ARs. I got a call that something I've been waiting to get is there, and it has my name on it. So I'm excited about getting this started. I won't say what it is yet, but y'all can follow it. But it's pretty cool. And just enjoying long guns again, and just kind of doing what I want to do and how I want to do it. I hope everyone comes along for the ride. And I was able to shoot some of KS's stuff that I hadn't shot before. And I shot a lever action again. I used to own a 30-30. I should have never gotten rid of it. but I got to shoot a lever action Marlin 357-38 suppressed, and it was a blast with the red dot. So, and it was awesome. So, it makes me want another lever gun, which I don't need right this moment, but
I always need lever guns because I love
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, they're a lot of fun, and I was doing some rifleman action. It's been a long time since I got to do that, so it was kind of fun doing that.
So I picked up some goodies. Obviously I got to go out and shoot a little bit. It's been a while since I've taken anything really. Just got the VP9 SK. Just got the M&P 2.0 subcompact actually.
Cool.
And I have to say I really like it. I think again another sleeper from Smith & Wesson that nobody does anything with.
Well, they've actually had that sleeper for years and years and years. It's called
the 9C.
It's called the 9C.
Yeah. But listen, the 9C compared to this, I think this is a vast improvement with the steel chassis and all that other crap. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's going to be a good shooting handgun. But again, we got to test it out and let it see what happens. But I got the SKS. I still got to shoot. Like I said, another stainless Marlin coming, so I'm kind of happy about that again. I tried to find one of the Black Series Marlins, and they had one, but it was sold. I wish they had another one, especially with the sale coming up, because I would definitely put some money out for that. I do like those quite a bit. You can put anything on it, really. You can put a muzzle device, which is kind of cool. No suppressors here because they're illegal in New York State, but that's something I was looking for.
Yeah, you shouldn't run mufflers on cars either.
Yeah, I know. They're bad. They're dangerous.
Yeah. Whatever.
So that's really about it. I mean, I'm just kind of, I don't know, man. I'm just not really at a quickened pace. Some days I go out with a flurry where I'm doing 2 or 3 videos, and then I take a break, and then I come back and take a break, and it's just, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to kind of take a break and just sit back and absorb some stuff and watch videos and just take a break. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
Well, have you had, and I've had a bunch of questions asked about this. Have you thought, and I have some, I just don't ever shoot them, but have you thought about getting into any of the revolver game?
It's funny you say that. I've been looking because people, and I succumb to peer pressure a lot because that's who I am. But a lot of people say, oh, you should try. I've been looking around a little bit. Nothing's really caught my fancy. And then the other day in another gun shop, I saw a Chiappa Rhino. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell it is about those revolvers, but to me, that would be one revolver that I would buy. But then I look at the price and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So It was a used one, but it was in really good shape. It was really nice, $600.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, I know. And I'm so tempted, and it's so cool, man. I like the way the barrel, the barrel's lower than a normal revolver. It's just such a cool ass looking gun. So if I was going to do a revolver, it would be that. I would get a Chiappa Rhino because that's what I like.
Yeah, and they're actually really good guns. I shot Baldwin Curiouses, and what's funny is, I was doing the regular, thumb stance like we do on our regular semi-automatic pistols because I haven't shot any of my revolvers in forever, and I know how to shoot them. It's just I forgot. And so he told me, he's like, don't put your thumb there. And I was like, okay. And then I, set it down. We were talking about something, and then I picked it right up, and bam. I mean, I laid that thumb right open from the blast, and it bled like a stuck pig. But, it shot flat. I mean, I think they're nice. I think they're very nice revolvers. And if I was going to get a newer one other than what I have now, it probably would be that.
Yeah.
Probably would be. The only thing, some of them have the smaller grip, and then some of them have the little bit fatter grip, I guess, on the larger calibers. But I would definitely want a little bit larger grip. And I know that it's designed not to see and stuff like that. But
this one was pretty cool. It had like an adjustable rear sight. It was a long barrel, a wooden grip. I mean, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's a good price.
No joker. I'm not turning into the Yankee Marshal. Okay. I just think it's a cool looking gun. I mean, like, to me, that's why I would go for something like that. Like, I'm not a big revolver guy, and I've said that a million times. So it'd have to be something really unique that just kind of catches my eye. And just the design of it, I think, is a unique design.
Yeah.
And that's why I would favor something like that.
Yeah, because mine are like the old school. I got a 357 Smith & Wesson. I've got a 238 Smith & Wessons. One is a Bob. One is a Hammer. And they're cool, but, it's like, I mean, I've shot them so much when I was younger. It's like now there's, you can get as far as speed, changing, your moon clips and doing all this other stuff. I mean, they're a little more difficult, I guess, if you're more used to it. They're not, but it's just, kind of been there and done that. I know a lot of people that haven't shot revolvers are like, hey, I want to get a revolver. And they're fun. I mean, it's fun shooting a wheel gun every once in a while, but it's just nothing I want to do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see why.
Yeah.
It would be like, going away from a red dot after, you got one on for so long. It's like the striker fired revolution came and took over. So,
yeah. Well,
for most people.
It's funny that you say that because, I've been shooting dots for so long now, or it seems like a really long time. And then when I shot that 92X, it was like, where the hell's the dot? It was just like, it was weird. So it definitely, it's definitely different.
Don't get used to that dot. When you get a failure, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah. I'll just point shoot you in the face.
Yeah, I'll just throw it at you.
Yeah, well, that too.
Take this, bad guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So what else is going on? We got 10 minutes to burn, so we got to come up with something fast. We went from like almost 90 people to 75. Jesus, what happened?
Guess I got tired of us talking.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah, it actually snowed here this morning, man. I walked outside and I was like, what the hell's going on? It's freaking snow everywhere. Wasn't used to that, but I mean, it turned to slush, but
yeah.
And I mean, C-Chem's right. Single action revolvers are awesome. And I've shot some super light ones, and they are beasts. And I've shot people even told me, oh, you need a 500 Magnum and you need this and you need that. I've shot some of the really big boys, the Casuls and stuff like that. I think, what is it, a 460? I've shot that. They weren't mine, but I've shot them. And I mean, they're cool. And I mean, they definitely leave a blast, but it's just like, would you want to shoot that all the time? Not really. I wouldn't, Yep.
So let's see. Michael D. Maria is asking me, how do I like the P10S? I have to say, man, that is a pretty sweet ass gun. I was a little iffy on it. Obviously, it's all going to be depending on hand size, but honestly, to me, I have large hands. I don't have, like caveman hands, but for me, I just put on that +0 base plate and it changed everything about that gun. The gun now is it's perfect. It really is. To me, that is the best CZP-10 out there, is that S.
Yeah, I literally, even with, the little, or, that thing that it comes with, it's just too small for me, and it goes back to, if I had it in the waistband, appendix or something, could I reach in and grab it? Maybe, but it's just not, I just need at least a C. But I run the C with the +2, just so I can have that extra grip. But I mean, shit, there's nothing wrong with the gun.
So to answer this question really quick, technically the P10S is my first P10S, so it doesn't count.
So how many P10 line? Okay, let's just say if it's a
how many have I owned? Shit, probably 5.
I thought it was 4.
No, I think it's 5. I think I'm up to 5 now. Shit, who cares, man? Damn it. Can't a man change his mind 5 or 6 damn times?
I guess, yeah.
So yeah, I've had like 5 or 6 now. I've had 4 VP9s. So, but the SK, I tell you, man, the SK hits my hand the right way. That full size, that hump on that grip, just never felt right in my hand. And to me, that was always the biggest downside of the gun. And the SK is just different. Feels a lot different in the hand. So
yeah. We got a question. Thoughts on the Holosun 507K?
I friggin' love them. I think they're awesome. Everything Holosun came out with was perfect.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a home run. If I was running like a 48 or, a slimline gun like that, I would put one on it. I certainly would. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And it's alloy, or it's, the aluminum frame at least. So you're not getting the polymer like on the new SIG. And I've seen too many of the, and we don't know the drop test on it yet, and I'm not saying, you're just going to throw your guns around, but I've seen the shields, the little shield arms. I've seen those things fold back. So, the 507K looks much more robust. So I think it could handle more. And I think it's a really good move on their part to pop that out.
All right, so no Mike's figured out why everybody dropped out. It's because we were talking about Kobe and the virus.
Oh
well, guys. I mean, it's an hour thing, man. There's only so many guns that are out there that we can talk about. Sometimes you got to change it up a little bit.
I think that, going back to guns, I think the PSA, that Jackal, I think that's pretty cool looking. I'm a little interested in it. I'm not saying I'm going to get one. I just think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. What else we got?
Yeah, and Harry's right. felt that SIG, Zero, that new little optic, a little polymer one, and it's got some stippling around it, and I mean, I was playing with it and I was like, I bet I could just smash this thing. It just, and I didn't try, but I was just like, it just doesn't feel like it could last. And it might, but I didn't think it didn't seem like it.
That's another Marlin. I'm a big fan of the Marlins.
What caliber?
Oh, it's a 30-30.
Oh, okay.
Is there any other caliber except for that 45-70? Those
No,
are the only calibers that should be in your collection if you have a lever gun.
Well, the 38-357 is a damn lot of fun to shoot, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, true. But the 30-30
No, I know.
will put a hole in you.
Yeah, well, a lot of things.
A very good one, a very good sized hole.
Yeah, no, it will. And I mean, I mean, hell, I remember when 30-30 was what everybody hunted with and used, and I mean that was just kind of the choice. And you can still find it, not as easily.
It's everywhere.
Not
30-30 is everywhere.
No, I mean some places have been like, we don't even sell 30-30s anymore, so we don't carry the ammo.
No, it's up here by me. It's all over the place.
Yeah, it depends on your area. What do you think about the SIG MCX?
It looks cool. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, again, for me, it's so hard because I'm never going to see any of those here ever.
Yeah.
So I can't ever get myself too hyped up on guns that I know I'm never, ever going to see nor touch or shoot or anything. So I that's where my bias runs in, and some people get butthurt because of it, but it's the reality, Why put your hopes up so high for something you're never going to get? That's just, to me, it's not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're nice, but I think they're also kind of heavy, for what they are. Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't be anything I would personally buy, but I know that a lot of people like them. I'm not talking about the little teeny tiny one, but the basic size one, it's kind of chunky for what it is.
Yeah. So Felipe is saying to me, have I ever been to Safe Shoot? No, I haven't. I actually haven't gone there. I don't know why. I don't know why I haven't gone. It's really supposedly a state-of-the-art shooting range by me. It's actually like an hour away, but maybe one day I'll go up there. I really should just get out of my comfort zone and go. But I like shooting in the dungeon and inhaling all of the chemicals that are being shot out of everybody's guns because of the poor ventilation.
Yeah.
So,
yours definitely looks like some.
Oh God, it's terrible.
Some dungeon stuff going on.
It's friggin' horrible.
But they have bodies down there somewhere in a corner.
There's bullet holes in everything. It's stealing the walls, the floor. I've never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're talking about the Shield 45. I think it's actually a great the small 45. I mean, I still have mine and it shoots great.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the 2.0 subcompact, it's a little bit thicker. It's like I think the Shield is half an inch thick or something like that. Maybe a little bit. I think it's like 0.8 or something like that. And then the 2.0 subcompact is 1.2. So there's such a minute difference between the two, and you're getting more capacity. I mean, obviously for me it's limited to 10, which sucks, but for all the normal people out there, you get a much needed capacity boost if you go that route. And it's a little thicker, but still manageable in my opinion. Yeah,
you have a question about, did you see Don Lemon, what he said about all of us?
No.
Yeah, he basically.
What did he say?
Oh, he was, they were going off on Trump and Trump supporters and all this other stuff, and he just fell over and started laughing hysterically for like, I don't even know how long it was, but it was a long time, and it was pretty ridiculous on his part. I mean, he's an idiot, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even watch that. I didn't even know he did it until somebody was talking about it, and then they showed the clip of him doing it, and I was just like, what?
Well, it's the typical irrational people. They're totally irrational. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, what else does he have to talk about? They have no ratings, they have no nothing. So
right. Yep.
But
all right, so we're down to the last 2 minutes of the evening's conversation. So how would you like to end this, sir? What would you like to say to all the people out there?
Well, I definitely want to thank everyone for tuning in and checking us out. It really means a lot. Y'all spend your Wednesday evenings with us. Check out all the channels. There's a lot of channels on here that have great content, so please subscribe to each other. If y'all haven't checked us out on Instagram, follow us. We put a lot of stuff on Instagram we don't put on YouTube, or it might come way later. But we appreciate it so much.
So I will again say the same as you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We always appreciate everybody who comes out on a Wednesday night to hear us. Hopefully we just get a little bit more consistent with both of us being here. Other than that, if you have not subscribed, everybody sitting here, definitely subscribe. Humble Marksman is also in the know about SHOT Show being a little bit of a dud. So I thought that's funny too, because that's what we're talking about tonight. But, other than that, we're just going to keep pushing content, whatever we can, and just supporting the gun culture in America. I will consistently say those two words: gun culture, gun culture, gun culture, as opposed to gun community. And one day we'll actually talk about what that means. So other than that, guys, thanks for joining us. Big Johnson, I'll see you next week. And, and we're out.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Carry on.
Boop. There we go.